Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. First and foremost, it is an honor and an absolute privilege for me to bring greetings and salutations on behalf of the great state of Illinois in general and the wonderful, wonderful people who make up the 57th Senate District, which East St. Louis is a part of. Absolutely, right? You know, as I stand here and we're on Veterans Day, right? November 11th. Every day really should be Veterans Day, right?
Right.
And so I am, as we stand here to recognize and give thanks for what you've done in your service, I'm reminded of a scripture my mom used to share with us as we were growing up. There's 6 of us, and she would always tell us about this particular passage. And so it goes that she used to say that Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, and he was in between Samaria and Galilee when 10 lepers called out his name, and they said, "Jesus, Master, please have pity on us." And upon seeing them, Jesus told them to go see the priest. And they went and they were cleansed. And of the 10, one, upon realizing that he was healed, ran and screamed out and praised Jesus and threw himself at the foot of Jesus and said, "Thank you." And then Jesus asked him, were not all 10 cleansed? He said, "Where are the other 9? You mean to tell me, in other words, that out of all of you, only one came back to say thank you?" Right? And so today I come here just to tell you thank you.
Amen.
For
Right.
everything that you've done. See, I really do understand that a lot of you all went to foreign countries to fight, and you came back. The ones that are here, everybody didn't make it. I get that. But the ones who came back still left a little piece of themselves over in those foreign lands, right? And so we thank you. You come back you left a land where you weren't always quite first-class citizen, but yet you went and defended in other lands democracy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. And then you came back to a land that in so many instances put you as a second-class citizen. But I just stopped by to tell you I thank you. I thank you for all that you've done. I thank you for your fight. I thank you for your spirit. I thank you for your volunteerism. Because I could not be here today in this capacity that I serve if it were not for you. And so absolutely. And lastly, it's great to be thanked, and it's good to be in a position to advocate and fight for soldiers and military. If you ever get by Frank Holden Park, you'll see 3 flags flying. You'll see the American flag, you will see the state of Illinois flag, and you will see that POW flag flying in Illinois. That was a piece of legislation that myself and LaToya Greenwood passed in 2019 to honor the veterans and the POW. And the story goes like this. This was right in the thick of COVID, and I was walking in a park in Fairview Heights, and a grandfather was with his 2-3-year-old son. He was a small lad, and they came up on 3 flags, and the little kid pointed and actually said, "Papa, what are those?" And the grandfather said, "That flag." He pointed to the state of Illinois flag. He said, "That represents the greatest state in the country." Then he pointed to the American flag, and he said, "That flag is represents the greatest country in all of the world." And he said, "The reason those 2 are the greatest," he pointed at the POWMIA flag. He said, "Those are the greatest because of this flag." And so God bless you. I thank you for all that you've done, and whatever I can do to help you, please let me know. God bless. All right.
Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Good morning. On behalf of Post 3480 in this Southern, we'd like to just give you a little token of our appreciation.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Guest speaker with us today. His name is Brigadier General Kevin E. Jacobs.
All right.
He's with the Illinois National Guard Chief of Staff. He's responsible for the command, control, and operations plans and programs affecting some more than 3,000 airmen in the Illinois National Guard. His broad range of responsibilities include ensuing the combat readiness and I'm not making any excuses, but this gentleman has a 2-page bio. He has accomplished things that only some of us can only dream of.
Oh, yeah.
I served as a staff sergeant in the United States Air Force from 1966 to 1970. And let me tell you, it was no picnic in 1969 when I went to Southeast Asia. Yeah. Like Kenny, we both did medical service in combat, and that is a trying task. Anyway, make a long story short, I give you General Kevin E. Jacobs.
All right.
Woo! All right, all right.
Thank you for that warm call. I appreciate that. Butch, thank you for that introduction. Told me not to call him by his government name. Nobody will remember that. So everybody knows Butch. So thank you for that. Commander Young, where are you at? Thank you for inviting me. We met back in June, and I spoke at the VFW conference, and there were a lot of people, talking in conversation with me, and Valerie was in the back, extending her hand, saying, "Hey, I need you to speak." So she had first dibs. Actually, you had third dibs, but I chose to come here.
All right.
I got to give a shout out to the ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho.
Right.
I'm thinking, I like to see that. I like to see you guys show up strong. So that's nice. My wife is a Delta, so I got to give a shout out to Delta. I'll be walking home, so you can do that. But thank you. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, service members, veterans, families, community leaders. If there are any left in the house, community leaders in the house, and to the men and women of East St. Louis VFW Post 3480. As a veteran, I stand before you with a profound sense of pride, humility, and gratitude. Veterans Day holds a special place in my heart. It reminds me of the commitment and the sacrifice that we've made in defense of our great nation. It is a time when I can reflect on the time I spent away from home from my family and my friends. It also reminds me of the bonds formed with my fellow brothers and sisters serving today, both on America and on foreign soil. But most importantly, it allows me to reflect on the countless contributions of the brave men and women who served before me, and on those broad shoulders I stand as I strive to protect the torch of freedom. These brave American heroes made a commitment to defend the principles of liberty, freedom, and justice. And in doing so, they made many, many sacrifices. And I owe them a small debt of gratitude for that. Many Veterans Days often include somber moments to remember those service members who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And at this time, let's take a moment of silence to honor those who have made that ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Thank you for taking a moment to honor those who have gone before us. In addition to reflecting on the legacies of our fallen comrades, Veterans Day is a time to celebrate and appreciate the servicemen and women who are still among us. In this room, there might be some of you who know the pride and privilege of serving in uniform. And I know there are, because I met many of you today. So at this time, I would like to recognize those service members who are present today. And you don't have to stand, you can just raise your hand when I call out your branch of service. So Army. Wow, nice. I know you're gonna raise your hand 4 times. Navy, any Navy in the house? All right, there we go. Coast Guard. You didn't do Coast Guard, Dwayne? Okay. Air National Guard. Okay. Army National Guard. Okay. U.S. Marines. All right, there we go.
Once also.
And I know Space Force is new, so I don't know if there's anybody in from Space Force.
Yeah,
And then last Air Force.
we got one.
Yeah, there we go. Nice. Nice. Did you raise your hand
Right, we're going to
twice?
Space Force.
Oh yeah, I thought you. Okay, just here. Air Force. It was you who raised it twice. Okay. Wow. Well, outstanding. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do and what you did. And I tell you, it's because of what you've done that I'm allowed to stand here in this uniform today. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Veterans Day was established to celebrate the service of our nation's veterans, those who raised their right hand and said, "Here am I, send me." This date, November 11th, marks the anniversary of one of the biggest celebrations the free world has ever seen. On the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month, November 1918, an armistice was signed ending the war to end all wars, World War I. This war was extremely brutal, with 22 million people killed and 22 million wounded. It was called the war to end all wars because people thought at that time that no one in their right mind would start a war again. That's not true.
Right.
But armistice was signed on that day to end all wars or the brutality of armed conflicts. Last month, the Illinois National Guard celebrated the homecoming of Private First Class Harry Lee, an Illinois Army National Guardsman who arrived in the Philippines on Thanksgiving Day, 1941, with B Company of the 192nd Tank Battalion. 2 weeks later, December 7th, 1941, we all know what happened then. The day that would live in infamy. Japanese Imperial forces attacked Pearl Harbor and the United States of America entered into World War II. On December 8th, 1941, just hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Private First Class Harry Lee and his fellow soldiers were attacked as the Japanese started their invasion of the Philippines. The 192nd Battalion Tank was the first U.S. unit to engage with the enemy in tank warfare during World War II. They were outmanned and they were outgunned. They defended the Philippines from December 1941 to April 1942. They fought without resupplies or reinforcements for 5 months until resistance overcame. They became overcome by resistance. On April 9th, 1942, the U.S. forces on the Bataan Peninsula were forced to surrender, and Private First Class was among them. He would survive the Bataan Walk of Death and was held in the infamous Cabana prison war camp under inhumane and brutal conditions. Unfortunately, he died on December 28, 1942 of pneumonia, one of more than 2,500 to die in that camp. He was buried in a mass grave, and his remains were unidentified for 80 years. But Private First Class Lee was an unassuming man. He would have rather stayed at home with his family and played his guitar on weekends than fight a brutal conflict. But he knew his nation needed him, so he joined the Illinois National Guard for an opportunity to serve and be with his friends. You know, folks, so our nation needs men and women like Harry today. The United States faces a myriad of threats, and we need to maintain a strong military to deter those who attack freedom and democracy. Whether those attacks come from bullets, bombs, cyber, or space, America is not looking for a fight. But I tell you this, if it comes for us, we must be ready. The best way to avoid getting into a fight is to be ready for a fight. In other words, we need to create a military that no one wants to mess with. And that takes people, good people, like Private First Class Harry Lee, who was willing to serve and if necessary sacrifice, which he did. When Private First Class Lee enlisted in 1940, the United States was not in war, but there was a conflict throughout the world. Unfortunately, the United States was not ready when the Japanese attacked. However, Private First Class Lee and his fellow Illinois National Guards soldiers fiercely defended Philippines. Despite being outmanned and outgunned, those brave soldiers brought America valuable time as they continued to mobilize for war. There are echoes of this historic account today. For example, Russia invaded Ukraine, a democracy, without provocation on February 24, 2022. China steadily increases its military strength and eyes Taiwan, another democracy. China also continues to press illegal claims of South China Sea with its neighbors. The Arctic has become more contested with both Russia and Chinese military pressing into the regime, forcing democratic nations to face this threat to areas that were once inaccessible. Iran and North Korea, both totalitarian regimes that suppress their own people and sow discord and threaten democracy and freedom. And there are still terrorist groups out there despite the individual rights and forefathers so faultily added to the U.S. Constitution. Folks, it is our Constitution and the foundation of our government, of the people, by the people, for the people, as Abraham Lincoln so eloquently wrote in 1863. But for our government, of the people, by the people, for the people to exist, it also needs to be defended by the people. During Harry Lee's time, every able-bodied man was expected to serve in the military, and thousands of women served too. Today, less than 1% of adult Americans are serving in the military, and about 7% are veterans. Among new recruits, 30% have a parent in the military, and 70% report a family member in the armed forces. We have a small segment of the population being asked to fight and defend for our freedom and democracy, and to defend the U.S. Constitution, not a person or a party, but the Constitution, the foundation of the United States of America. Today, we celebrate that service. Tomorrow, I ask that you talk to someone who is eligible to serve. Ask them if they would consider doing so. If they have ambition outside of the military, the National Guard can help you reach those goals. But military service is not just about a paycheck. It is more than just free college tuition. It is more than free training. It is more than learning a life skill and teamwork. It is more than building mental and physical resiliency. It is even more than the strong bonds of friendship and camaraderie that we build with each other, with those who serve. Private First Class Lee chose to serve. Let us never forget his commitment nor his sacrifice. Although more than 80 years have passed, we never stopped searching for Private First Class Harry Lee. Last month, we brought Private First Class Lee home to Illinois.
Yeah.
Now, he rests among his fellow heroes in Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery. Private Lee understood the importance of service before self. Before today, you probably never heard his name, but hopefully, after today, you remember his name and his story. It is an amazing example of ordinary citizen soldiers who doing extraordinary things in defense of our freedom. Today, we say to him and to all fellow brave hearts that you remember, we respect you and we salute you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for inviting me here today. Thank you.
Give them another round of applause. When you talk to different people, you learn something almost every day. My dad once, a long time ago, I think I was in the 7th grade at in, where was it? Monroe School. And I kind of cut up a little that day. And I had to go home with a note to my dad. Well, that was a bad thing to do. Because what happened afterwards, you don't want to know. But anyway, he instilled in me that day. Open your ears and eyes and listen. Even a crazy man can teach you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of live by that always, because anytime anybody speaks, I try to take something with me that they've said.
Yeah.
Before I give up the podium again, let's see where we are. I'd like to, on behalf of our commander, Valerie Young, and let everybody know that she and our quartermaster, Janine Fleming, have achieved something that we've been striving for years to accomplish. In the last 2 years, during our post inspections, these two ladies have come out with flying colors. All right. Especially this last inspection went so well, the inspector even drew a smiley face on our sheet before he gave it to us. I had an article here that the significance of being a veteran is found in the National Illinois VFW magazine, which came out this month. And also, you will find the name of our commander, Valerie E. Young. She's an all-state and all-American commander.
All right.
Comrade Commander, would you come forward, please, with some remarks?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Everyone. If the story was for Alpha Flying Sigma Alumni Chapter and Gamma Beta Undergraduate Chapter would stand.
Ow, they coming in packs.
And we would not be remiss, Soror Zeta Sigma. We, the members of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, would like to say thank you to the branch of 3480 for inviting us here to be a part of your program. We are very, very honored and bestowed to be here. I definitely want to say before of course we always have something that we write, but I definitely want to say thank you is not enough for the service that you have done for our country and the sacrifices, not only the sacrifices that you have made, your families have made, your children have made to adapt from city to city, because I know sometimes you all are relocated to different places in the country, and as you relocate, you have to relocate your families. So that is a sacrifice in itself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know it looks like you all are underappreciated when we come back home to the services that you need. I know that sometimes that seems like it's enough, but it's truly worth it for the freedoms that we have. We had State Senator Chris Belt to come here and speak before you, and trust and believe if it were not for you and the sacrifices and the services that you made, he would not be able to stand here as an African-American senator for the state of Illinois and not even represent the city of East St. Louis. So that alone is to say thank you. But I did put some words together for you all today. Sometimes when I come before you, I like to prepare, because you're owed more than just cliche. So I just want to begin to say today, we honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to serve our country. Your dedication and bravery grant us the freedoms that we cherish today. Soldiers in this country are like angels to God. You to this country is like how angels are to God. You are guardians of our peace and protectors of our liberty. I definitely want to take this time, if our sorors, who we call poodles and boots, if you all will come forward, I want to give you a good definition of what we call poodles and boots. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, poodles and boots.
The poodle is our mascot. It is what we call the classiest animal that we think is the classiest animal alive. These ladies, they not only serve in our sorority, they served this country before they became members, and some became members and then gone on to serve their country. So,
Yes. Amen. Amen.
so not only did they serve their country, they came back to become a part of Sigma Gamma Rho. We have 5 essential programs that we have. We have Operation Big Book Bag, we have Youth Symposium, we have Women's Wellness, we have Project Cradle Care, and we have Swim 1922. All of these ladies serve in a leadership capacity in executing our 5 programs, which is in Sigma Gamma Rho. One big program that we have is St. Jude, where we dedicate funds to individuals with cancer. Last year, Sigma Gamma Rho donated over $1 million to St.
Wow.
Jude.
Yeah.
So when you see sororities and fraternities, we're more than just stepping, we're more than just strolling, walking the yard, wearing our t-shirts. We serve. And I definitely want to salute our sorors who continue to serve you in our community. I want to recognize our Gamma Beta undergraduate sorors. How many know it takes a village to get our youth to understand and appreciate what is really important and why we're here and why we have the freedoms that we have? You don't walk freely just because people paid the price and continue to pay the price for us to be granted the freedoms that we have. So we are definitely honored to have our undergraduate sorors who took the time out of their day to come from SIU Edwardsville to come all the way down here to celebrate you.
Yeah.
So again, on behalf of Alpha Upsilon Sigma Alumni Chapter, Gamma Beta Undergraduate Chapter, and Zeta Sigma Alumni Chapter in St. Louis, thank you so much for having us be a part of the program, and thank you for what you continue to do for our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have a presentation. We have a small presentation. Okay.
We'll get it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just wanted to give a
Just
token of
get
love to
cards.
you for all that you do, and we look forward to seeing you again next year if we're invited.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, before we close, there's one more thing the commander has asked me to do, and that's have a call to arms. If any of you in the room are not a member of the VFW and are eligible, I need to see your DD 214 right now, and we will make you a veteran.
We will make you eligible.
Of the VFW, a member of the VFW. This is not an empty challenge, because I've been in this organization now for over 30-some years, 37 years now. And what I've gotten out of it is immeasurable. I never thought that joining anything like this could be so fulfilling. And right now I'm in failing health, but I'm gonna stay here until the Lord calls me home. So, having said that, Madam President, you ready to make your presentation?
Just one off the top.
Okay. Once again, our president of the auxiliary.
There was one presentation that I had planned to make when I was up here earlier. And I did mention it, but I forgot it. I guess it goes with the territory. I'm gonna ask Mrs. Jacobs to come forward, please. Mrs. Michelle Jacobs, would you come forward, please?
She was looking around.
Anyway, on behalf of Post 3480 and its auxiliary, since you had to travel with him very far, we brought you a little token of appreciation. Hope you'll like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But you still didn't join an auxiliary.
Oh, Lord, oh, Lord.
There's something that I want to say. This was going through my mind when I got here today. This time last year, we were in a very huge room filled with thousands of people. As I came to see my husband speak. But there was something so nice and warm about being here
Oh,
and seeing all
oh,
you guys.
thank
Being in
you.
this room. So just thank you for everything you do. Beautiful ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho represent. Thank you, the Divine Nine. And thank you all veterans. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I literally sit and think and thank God for you, each and every single one of you. Whether I've met you or not, you just don't know. I hold you up in prayer. You and your families. I thank you all so much. I thank you for doing such a wonderful job of emceeing here. I was gonna say Miss Valerie, I don't know if that's appropriate to say, but Commander Valerie, for inviting us to be here. It was beautiful to meet you in Springfield.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for inviting us to be here. This was awesome. And he really did turn down a lot of requests and invitations to speak. And he's a beautiful person. He'll tell you he's not necessarily a speaker, but this is a sacrifice, a labor of love that he does. So thank you guys for being so patient
Oh,
and understanding. God bless you. Enjoy this wonderful day.
thank you.
Okay, one last remark I'd like to make, and then I will bring up our chaplain. General Jacobs, thank you, sir.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is how you young people can end up like this gentleman. Stay in school. Do what you're supposed to do. Believe in God. Follow the rules of your family, your father, your mother, and you will be blessed. You will be blessed. Like I said earlier about my my misbehaving in school, my dad got that out of me. And so far, I've done pretty good.
Good, all right.
All right. Now I'll bring Chaplain Walter Ladd for our benediction.